Now that we have our product set up and we have our bill of material, it's time to create an assembly. Underneath Production and Assemblies, click Add Assembly. From here we're going to find the product based on its product code that we're making today. Once we've selected the product, Unleashed is going to show us in the can assemble quantity how much we can make today. This is based off of the components in our bill of materials and the current stock on hand levels. Type in the assemble quantity, so how much you want to make. Based on this, the quantity and wastage will be calculated, and it basically means this is the amounts you need to pull off the shelves for each of the components. Now, as we know, we've created our bill of materials and we can see those components we added listed below. You may need to add components into the assembly or even remove them or change the quantity or wastage. You have great flexibility over this. Now, as this is a transaction in Unleashed, it has its own prefix and number so you can keep track of it, as well as a status. At the moment, it is in a draft status, and we want to keep it this way until we've finished the product. Now, as this is a parked assembly, let's have a look at how our stock is affected. The best way to do so is underneath our Reports, Purchase, and Reorder report. Let me just add some filters so we can see the items we need to focus on today. So here are our items, and right at the top we can see our dry stout. This is currently what we're making. Now, it's not stock on hand at the moment because we're currently manufacturing that product, but we can see on assembly is 12. Coming down from here we have our bottles. We haven't reduced the stock on hand yet because it's still bottles on hand, but we have put in the quantity 12 in assembly, meaning we are going to use these in the assembly process and it's not available for sale. Back to our assembly now. We're almost ready to complete it. Now, if you have a batch tracked component going into your batch tracked finished product, then you need to pop in the batch numbers as required. Let me just go ahead and do so. Now, because I've got batch tracked components, my finished product also needs to be batch tracked. It is today, so I'm going to pop in the batch number and expiry date. Now, we do also see here our supplier costs, and this is where we can add on any costs associated in assembling those items. For example, if you have a third-party manufacturer, simply pop them in as a supplier in Unleashed, pop in the cost, reference, and comments as needed. This increases the cost of this assembly, so we get a true average landed cost of the finished product. Now, once the goods are complete, this is when the assembly will be complete as well. And we get a lovely piece of documentation for that assembly process. Now that it's complete, it's really important to understand the movement in stock in your business. So let me go back to that reorder report. Now we can see the dry stout, we have more stock on hand, so it's increased by 12. We no longer have the on assembly because we've finished the process. Looking at our brown bottles at the top, we have less stock on hand. Because we've used those bottles, it's no longer raw component, it is now the dry stout. And of course, we're not using any of those in assembly, it's now finished, so we've removed that quantity. Now, assembling items can be done as and when needed. We can also set products up as auto-assembled. And what this means is an assembly will be created for you behind the scenes. Perfect for kit sets. What you do is process a sales order exactly the same as you normally would. If you're adding in a product that is auto-assembled, you'll see the orange icon beside the quantity. This is to link you to the assembly that has been created automatically. Now, the assembly, if we open this up, will be for the remaining items we need to fulfill this order. In this example, we're selling a box of 12 bottles. We have another product for single bottles, and we keep them separate so we can monitor sales. By using an Unleashed auto assembly, it helps us gather together the 12 bottles. When you're ready, you can select the item that needs assembling, and using the action cog assemble, or go to the Order button and assemble your items as needed. Once the items have been assembled, you can complete the order as normal.